This video, I'm going to be sharing with you the dangers of your old belief system, understanding how to transcend to a new level so that you start to create what you want easier than ever. Welcome back to another video. My name's Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how you can transcend your old belief system, understanding that that is the danger in your life. That is one of the biggest culprits. That is the thing that will hold you back the most, is actually your belief system. Now, in general, back in the day on my YouTube channel, I used to talk a lot about understanding how our beliefs create our reality. Now, this is the thing. For a while, I stepped away from that. I stepped away and I was looking more into how to bring in Eastern philosophy into the law of attraction. But what I've been learning lately is that literally, not just a metaphor, this isn't just some type of hyperbole, the idea is that literally, our beliefs are creating our reality, which means whatever we believe to be true will always be reflected back to us. Now, the thing is what we believe to be true from person to person to person, this changes based on our own interpretation of the world, based on our own reference experiences, and based on our own beliefs. So this is something that many times we don't agree necessarily as to what absolutely is true. But that is why everyone will always get a reflection of what they believe to be true. You could think of this in the form of confirmation bias, where we say, well, anytime I go out, the people I meet, everyone I meet is just very rude to me. I go out, the lady at the cashier, she's rude, this, that. That's a story that we have playing in our mind. When the same exact person may go out that same day to maybe even the same place and meet maybe someone else that's at the register, that's on a different shift, or the idea is that they interpret that person as being nice because it's almost like that energy field of that person maybe softens that person up. This is something that I actually just did today, and I noticed because my buddy Victor and I, we go to this place almost every day to eat. It's in Vegas, and it's like this healthy food place. We go there every day to eat, and there's normally this one lady, this one girl that works at the front at the cashier. And there are times that when she works, she just has, and just in general, there's been this certain story that every time she's working, she's in a bad mood. So when we go up there, we can kind of see that she's either having a bad day or whatever it is. Now, here's the funny thing. I was talking to Victor about this because I've been having this shift in my own consciousness where I've been realizing that literally everything I believe to be true is reflected back to me. I said, let's do this thing. When we go in to the same place to eat tomorrow, instead, let's view it and almost expect her to be nice. Let's drop this belief that she's always in a bad mood. What's going on with this person? And what we did is today I went in there, I ordered my food, and she was much nicer. She ended up just like insinuated and did something that I normally ask for that normally she has an attitude about. She just did it with like a smile on her face. And it's so funny because what if the people that you are around, the people and how they respond to you, what if they change based on how you are expecting them to be? What if reality in of itself is nothing but a reflection? Now, this gets even deeper because the more down the rabbit hole we go, the more we realize that literally what we think of as reality itself is much more flexible. Now, we think that it is solid and that it has form, but what quantum physics shows us is that it's simply a matter of probabilities. There's different probability factors that go into what we actually experience. So the cool thing about that is that as we change our beliefs, as we change the way that we see the world, the outer reflection of what we experience, that begins to change as well. So it is literally a one-on-one reflection. Now, what is the danger of this? Well, the danger is that when we have certain belief systems about the way the world works, so for example, just the way that people treat us, the way that we relate to money, all of these things, what this ends up doing is this ends up creating a hamster wheel of experiencing the same things over and over and over again. Now, this is something that I've shared from something that I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza says that our personality, which means what we think, how we feel, and how we act, the action we take, these three things, it brings up and combines to make our personality. Our personality creates our personal reality. Now, in order for us to experience more than that which we are currently experiencing, what we must do is we must go beyond how we think, beyond how we feel, and beyond how we act. If we start to stretch ourselves outside of what is comfortable, we start to then expand our own self-image, we start to see ourselves in a new way, and then we start to experience more in our life. So this is the key. Now, I've shared before that scale of consciousness. The scale of consciousness, when it goes from 0 to 1,000 being that of beyond enlightenment, or we could call that source energy. And when you look at the bottom, you'll see that of the negative emotions. You'll see emotions such as shame, emotions such as guilt, such as fear. These negative emotions are not really who we are. They're just kind of bogging us down. And the way a lot of people go about using the law of attraction is what they do is they try to create what they want in their lives by being in the lower consciousness paradigms, by feeling shame, by feeling guilt, by feeling fear, by feeling anger. And then they wonder, why am I not attracting what I want? Well, it could be that the key to you experiencing what you want is to transcend your level of consciousness. Instead of trying to pile on a new idea or pile on a new belief, instead of doing that, what you could instead do is you could decide that you are going to let go of what no longer serves. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you a powerful way that you can transform your own beliefs. It's one of the easiest ways I found. It's very simple, but it works like clockwork, and this is all you do. Now, the first thing you must do is you must become aware of the beliefs that you have. You must become aware of how you believe and what you believe about life. You must become aware of what you believe about money, what you believe about relationships, whatever area in your life that you're focused on changing. You must first off become aware of the beliefs that you have. Because when you become aware of the beliefs that you have, you've then moved from the reaction mind into that of the observation mind. Now, when you get into the observation mind, that's where all the power is, because then you're no longer acting based on the recycled thoughts, the recycled way of going about things, which continues. As we know, we think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, take the same actions, we get the same result. You then become aware of that, and you start to wake up to this level of being. You start to wake up to becoming more present to the moment. You start to wake up to a new level of consciousness. And if you were to look at this scale that I've shared so many times, you'll see neutrality. Now in neutrality, you become aware of the thoughts you're thinking. You may have a thought of shame that bubbles up, a thought of fear and anger that bubbles up. But all that is a thought. And when you become neutral in observation, you get to that neutrality space where you realize that you can shift into this new level of consciousness of observing the thoughts that you're having in those lesser paradigms. You start to allow them to be there. You start to let go of those vibrations. And as you let go of those vibrations, you then start to see that things in your life begin to change, because then the blocks that come up no longer have to be there because you've dealt with the pattern. It's just simply most people don't deal with the pattern. They continue to say, I really, really want. And guess what? If you really, really want something, you are reaffirming in the present moment that you really, really don't currently have it. So there's a dissonance there. There's a feeling of lack. And what happens when you see someone that's really needy, that wants someone, that wants something or wants someone? What happens? That desperation is something that creates resistance. That's what blocks you. That's what blocks anyone. So the key is to transcend all of this. And the way we transcend it, one of the most powerful ways I found, is simply a way called the Sedona method. Now the Sedona method is something maybe I like also because I love Sedona. So it could be, that could be part of it. I'm not sure, but it's actually called the Sedona method. Now, the first step, there's 4 steps to the Sedona method. The first step is you simply become aware of the belief or the feeling you have, either belief or feeling. Now understand also, feelings come from beliefs. We must first believe something to be true to actually have a feeling anyways. If it was a rainy day, it was kind of raining earlier today. If it was a rainy day today and I had a positive emotion, it's because I believe that that's a positive thing. I have a belief that then causes the emotion for me to feel good about it. But if somebody else is from Oregon, for example, and they don't like the rain because they're so used to it back home and it rains in Vegas, like, oh, it's a bad day. The meaning they give it, the belief they have, the meaning they give it, then decreases the amount of state of being they feel, which means they then feel the negative emotion. But the inherent part of reality, there is no built-in meaning that says a rainy day is good or a rainy day is bad. It simply depends on the person's perception as to what they feel out of it. So in the same way, the first step of the Sedona method is you simply must become aware of what you believe to be true to then start to take your power back. You become aware of what you believe to be true, and you allow yourself to feel whatever that is. This is the first step. So just be honest with yourself. What feeling do I have right now, and can I allow it to be there? Now, the second part is actually a question. These are all questions you're going to ask yourself. The last three are all questions. The first question is, could I let go of this emotion right now? Could I let go of this emotion right now? And that's just a question of, could I? Could I do it? And be honest with yourself. Maybe you're like, no, I can't let that go right now. Which in that case, then you just become aware that it's there. The more presence you bring into it, the more you'll be aware of it, and the more you'll eventually be able to let it go. Could I let go of this emotion? Could I let go of this belief? Many times when it comes to these beliefs or these emotions, there's a payoff for it. You say, how could there be a payoff for something negative? Well, if you feel angry about something, some people attach to the identity of whatever they're angry about. So it's almost like they get an adrenaline rush when they are angry. So there is some level payoff for that emotional state of consciousness. But it's about being aware of that and then ask yourself the question, could I let go of this emotion? And you could be and just sit with that and see how you feel. Now the third question, the third part of this process is asking, would I let go of this emotion? Could you? You could be like, I could, but will I? Am I willing to? Would I let go of this emotion? Because if you see that payoff and you don't think there is any reason for you to do so because you get such a good payoff on it, then you might say, no, I'm not ready yet. Or I wouldn't do it. I have too much to gain out of this. And then at least you're aware of it. At least you're aware of it and you've asked yourself these questions and you'll come back to it later. Now, the final step is simply when. When will you let go of this belief, of this feeling? Is it now? Many times it will be now. But maybe you say, you know what, I need to hold on to it a little bit longer. You're just honest with yourself. I'm not ready to let this go yet. But just doing this 4-step process of first off, being aware of the emotion and allowing yourself to feel it. I remember I did a talk in LA at the beginning of the year and someone had a question about this. They said, what am I supposed to do when I feel all these negative emotions of my old family members and this and that? And what I said is, are you letting it be okay that you feel those emotions? Because sometimes in the spiritual community, we get these ideas that we're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be better than our emotions. We're supposed to, in a way, transcend it. Allow it to be there. By allowing it to be there, you then allow it to transform. It's a funny paradox, but it's true. And that was the key. I remember he reached out to me later and said, hey, thank you a lot. He found me on Instagram and DM'd me and said, thank you a lot. I did that, and it really transformed the way that I relate to the situation. Allow yourself to feel any emotions that come up, because the thing is your belief systems are what blocks you. Your belief systems are what holds you back. I remember I went to a conference once and I asked a question. His name was Bashar, the conference I went to. And I asked this Bashar guy, I said, hey, the belief system, about beliefs create our reality. What were the belief systems of someone like Buddha or Jesus? And the answer I got back was that they didn't have belief systems. They went beyond belief systems. They went into being. They went into knowing. That, if we look at that state of consciousness, of that chart, we'll see that up till 400 level of consciousness, which is a higher paradigm than most people attract from anyways, being aware of how our beliefs create a reality, that will get us so far. That will get us as far as 499, which is Einstein. However, if you want to go beyond that, you have to transcend the intellectual processes and get into a state of being present to the moment, of understanding that you are already whole and complete. That when you think you want all of these things, when you have all these past experiences, these reference experiences, and you're trying to create this identity of how can I think beyond my thoughts and feel beyond my emotions and act beyond the current actions I'm taking, that's one paradigm. And it works. However, it will only get you to a 499 level of consciousness. The higher your vibration ranges, the easier it is to manifest what you want. So the key to this is actually to transcend all of the beliefs by becoming aware that all beliefs are true if you believe them to be true. Through different areas of your life, you will shift to different perspectives. But understand that reality is what we make it to be. Based on what we believe to be true about reality, that will always be reflected back to us. So the more we become aware of what we believe, and the more we become aware of our perceptions, is the more we start to take our power back. Because the next time we find ourselves caught up in some thing about something happening, there's a story that goes along with it, we can see that maybe that story is keeping it alive in the same way that I went to that place today. I went to the place that I eat in Vegas with my buddy Victor, and there was that lady there that only has a bad attitude, and I changed the story. All of a sudden she's acting nicer to me. I've let go of it. I've used this as before as well with other people, because I used to always get kind of, my time to me is I really value my own time. But I would get mad if like someone comes and says they're going to be here at a certain time and they're late. But you see, that's a belief. That was a story I had in my mind. The more I let go of all of that is the more things began to shift. The stories are running our life experience, because in the stories are the beliefs we have. If you simply become aware that everything in life is just what we believe it to be true, you can see that then you can let go of the beliefs. And the way you let go of those beliefs is by first off becoming aware of those beliefs. Ask yourself the question, what would I have to believe is true to be experiencing this? Allow yourself to feel those emotions. The paradox is in allowing it, it naturally begin to subside. You begin to process it instead of repress it. Secondly, could you let go of that emotion? Could you let go of that belief? Be aware of what comes up. Thirdly, would you let it go? The emotion or the belief, would you let it go? And then fourth, when. And if not now, then when. And if not now, don't beat yourself up. Just wait and see, ask yourself the question in a week from now. Set the intention to figure it out and to work through this. But as you go through this process, the key to transcending your level of consciousness is not to pile on a new belief system. It's not to pile on a new perspective. It's simply to let go of what doesn't serve and to let go of the social conditioning that is holding you back. That is the danger of the belief system. The belief system is the block. The belief system is that comes from the ego. You are not the ego. The ego is a part of you, but you are so much more than that. And when you become more of that, you transcend the level of the intellect. You get into a place of being. That is a shift in consciousness. Now, something that I'm currently doing is I'm creating something very powerful called the Shift Experience with Doughty. It's going to be an experience of a course that shows you how to shift your level of consciousness so that you create things easier than ever. It's going to show you how to shift out of the autopilot mind of social conditioning to start to create your life in a powerful way of transcending all the beliefs that no longer serve you and to really creating a transformation in your level of consciousness. It's going to be available within the next few months. If you want to get on the wait list for that, you want to be the first to know, in the link in the top of the description box will be a link so that you're the first one to know about it. I will also be traveling the world and doing seminars on the shift called the Shift Experience with Doughty. And if that's something you're interested in, then you can go ahead and sign up and I'll send you updates on that. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. I just did one yesterday. So if you want to ask me questions, if you want to interact with me, I also post daily content there as well. I think I post twice a day. I'll go ahead and boom, right there. You can follow me on Instagram. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like it. If you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear next to the subscribe button so that you can see the daily vids that I do. I do a video every single day on this channel. And other than that, as always,